We have an obsession.
Help. Hey everyone, welcome back to Rewatching RWBY. I'm still Jenny, that is still Madison. And we are obsessed with RWBY now, apparently.
Yes.
This is our lives.
It's all we think about.
We took a 2-week break with filming, and it was all we thought about for the entirety of those 2 weeks.
Even at the Taylor Swift concert, I would catch myself being like, dang, this is the reason I'm not watching RWBY right now.
I hate the fact that I am so excited to watch more RWBY.
I know. It's hard to, go to work. People are like, how have you been, Madison? What'd you do on your day off? And I'm always like, I watched a cartoon I watched in my childhood and analyzed it with my friend. And they're like, oh, okay, I went to a bar. So, it's different lives.
I'm better than a bar.
You'd be better with a bar, for sure.
The Atlas arc begins.
Okay. Interesting. Do we get my cartoon crush back?
I hope. I mean, if we go to Atlas and we don't meet General Ironwood, then what was the point?
What's the point?
I have never directly watched Volume 7, so this is the first time where I'm basically going in blind. So I'm joining you now, because you hadn't seen anything from Volume 6.
Yes.
I've seen, screenshots from 7, but, I just didn't have the energy to watch it.
Understandable. I'm scared. Oh, no trailers or anything.
Not that I'm aware of. I got the Blu-ray as a birthday gift. There is not a second disc, so if there's extra material, sorry, I'm not watching it. If there is World of Remnant, it can go fuck itself.
I miss it so much.
It just ruined the first 2, 3 volumes. It's just terrible. But yeah, let's get into it. Welcome back.
Woo.
I don't really know where to start.
Guess the opening. We hate it.
It's horrible.
It's just the most mid Jeff Williams style.
That's been his entire problem this volume, is that it's all so mid.
Yeah, because it's it feels like him still. It's just
it's like he's run out of ideas.
If I were to put his 3 different style of songs into an AI generator, this is what I would get for the because he usually has those retro pop song vibes. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. Yep. Then he has the edgy rock thing, and then he has almost a hybrid of
the two. It's like I'm listening to satire of what the RWBY soundtracks sound like.
Yeah.
I miss hating Adam.
I miss Adam.
I miss when Adam was the thing that I had the most clear feelings about.
And even then they got hazy.
Yeah, at the very end I was like, well, I was maybe
I'm not ready to let him go.
I don't think I registered anything that happened over the past hour and a half.
Yeah. That's to say, it's not bad. For me, it's not bad.
It's not, it isn't objectively bad. I'm just not interested.
I feel like it's a lot of things one after the other, and no fun bits or slow bits in between.
Yeah, I'm not having fun.
Yeah. I'm having fun. Well, probably not for their intentions, though.
Right. I'm having fun because I'm here with you, and it's, a fun
and
experience.
we're fun.
I love the characters. I don't care what the characters are doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest problem right now. And even then, there are some there are too many freaking characters here right now.
There's a lot of new characters, and I hate that they were all in the opening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about these people. I had a freak out when just Maria
was in the opening
opening and part of the CD screen, DVD screen.
You're like, who is she?
I was like, who is this woman? I don't care about her.
Where is she? She was gone after the first episode.
She said, they're messing with politics and shit. I'm out of here.
God,
I'm just trying to get my eyes fixed. That's it.
Iconic of her. We should have followed suit.
Yes.
The pause screen at the end of the opening where there's 50 people on screen, I was like, there are
too many
Get
people
rid of
here.
half of them. Just half of them gone.
Oh, you said I like the Aesop, which I think it's funny that they're called Aesops. That's funny.
That's a fun fable. I guess they're based off of the actual Aesop's fables.
Yeah. Do we want to go ahead and talk about them? Or do you want to talk about something
Yeah, we can talk about them.
So I have to talk about them. First of all,
Speaking of dog,
I love Marrow. And I love him. He's so Jaune, season 1 and 2. Kind of annoying, but very boy. Like, I respect a little bit of annoying boy. And that his semblance is stay. And he's a dog.
And his weapon is a boomerang.
This whole season is so Avatar.
Yes.
Every 5 seconds, I'm like, this reminds me of Avatar.
We're just at the Northern Water Tribe.
Northern Water Tribe. Very Korra with the...
Police.
Especially fishermen. That's very Toph Beifong's military style. Very Korra with the city of Mantle. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't it? It just...
Like with the Equalists.
It instantly... Just the look of it.
Yeah.
Instantly reminded me of Republic City. Mm-hmm. Sure, it just kind of looks like New York. Like every, like, grim city does. Grim in the real use of the word. Not
bleak.
You know. Very edgy. But this one, like, I did already, like... I kind of felt influence that Korra had with the 1920s style. Mm-hmm. It's like Korra had the influence of 1920s style, and then RWBY had influence from Korra. So therefore, there's some 1920s influence. Mm-hmm. Back to the Aesops. Mm-hmm. Love Little Dog Boy. Love Grown Up Nora Girl.
She's alright. I don't know her name.
I don't know her name either. I also don't know the other girl's name. I think she's...
Fast Girl?
Yeah, Fast Girl. I think
Harriet. Is she like the hare from The Tortoise and the Hare?
That'd be funny. She has to be. She has to be.
Aesop fables always have a moral to them.
Yeah.
Where it's like, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
So she has to be the hare.
I think Elastic Girl,
Noodle Arms.
I think he's fun. He's chill.
He's Ren?
He's like a satire of Ren,
yeah.
season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And he looks like a Naruto character, and I don't necessarily mean that as a compliment. Who I do also really love is that gay man named Clover. I love him.
I retract everything we've ever said about Cardin. Clover is the gayest man we've ever seen animated on screen.
He wants Crow so bad. And vice versa.
And the way that he's like, you shouldn't undercut your compliments.
Yes.
And that, like, it's a good thing that he's like... So...
He's great. This is the healthiest situationship I've seen between 2 gay men on screen. And I did not know that Crow was gay, and I support it now. I guess it's the voice change. Voice change changes sexuality.
I barely noticed the difference.
With the voice?
With the voice.
He's really good.
He is very good.
I don't know this man.
Me neither, but he is very good. Like, you don't miss Vic. Where are Mercury and Emerald?
I know, I miss them.
But at the same time, no Cinder.
That's a plus.
These are trade-offs.
I would rather see Cinder than seeing Mr. Mustache and Tyrion.
I hate them.
I hate them both. And Tyrion, well, he's been killing a lot of people. But more importantly, he killed our little protest guy. He was so funny in the car.
I loved him.
And I saw him walking in the dark, and I was like, oh my god, Tyrion's gonna kill him. And then he did. And I just have even more reason to hate that man.
I don't have the patience for Tyrion.
I don't like Mustache Guy either.
No.
I can deal with him a little more.
Yeah, because he's not like, I'm the crazy one. I didn't mention this, but I feel like I can tell. There are 2 new writers for RWBY here. Mm-hmm. I believe their names are Eddie Rivas and Kiersey. I think it starts with a B, is her last name.
There's a B?
There's a B. For better or worse, Miles and Carrie, through Volume 6, found the characters' voices again. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we've kind of lost a few of the characters' voices again in the process. It's like they're learning how to write these characters.
Yeah.
And it isn't bad, but it's noticeable.
Is it all 4 of them now?
I think it's all 4 of them.
Okay.
So they're all taking...
So, like, they're still there.
Right. And they needed to get more writers in the room, especially since the ways in which RWBY is written, the stress it must have put Miles and Carrie through as 2 people writing this entire show, not enviable. So, like, I like that there are more writers. I don't like what they're writing. Anytime there is a fictional election subplot, I mentally check out, because I don't watch fiction to remind myself that politics exists, which is funny because literally today, before we started watching this, I went to vote. There was 1 thing on the ballot.
Which must have been what they were having too, because as far as I know, there are
no bills, no taxes, and you know what? I'm going to complain about this too. Are voting districts not a thing? Because why is Mr. Jacques, I live on the floating island, Schnee, in Mantle's voting district?
I guess.
Is it gerrymandering?
I thought this was a council member that represented a certain part.
Right.
I guess it's not.
I
guess
not.
Their council is just whenever there's a new position up, they just get a new person in there from wherever.
Which is bad. Terrible design of your government.
Not ideal. Especially when only the rich people are going to be the ones that can afford to
run for office.
Whatever.
Also, we looked up when this volume came out, and it's like, politics were on the brain for them.
19 to 20, right?
Yeah, 19 to 20.
Big years.
Important years. Also, the fact that they literally manipulated the election results is so funny to me. Because we've literally just come through the other end of the Fox News scandal of them lying about the voting machines. It's so funny to me. What was that line in episode 3 that made my skin want to jump back inside of itself? Marrow was like, well, we didn't come down here to solve system-long, oppressive issues. And I'm like, you are so literally funny. A faunus.
That was so funny.
The lighting in this volume is terrible.
It's awful.
I can't see. I have to turn off every light in this room to see it on screen.
We're like
and
writing in the dark half the time.
I can't see. Half of my notes are illegible in certain places because I could not see when I was writing. And I still couldn't even see the screen.
Yeah. It was like better, but not ideal.
It was pitch dark.
They're watching too many movies.
Yes.
Because they're watching too many movies because movies do that crap these days where you can barely see.
And it's like, no.
It's like, please.
The lack of lighting does not make it good lighting.
Yeah.
Like, just because the characters can't see, I should be able to see something.
Yeah.
And it's like, part of me thought it was the brightness on my TV. No, it's not. It's just the lighting. And it's frustrating.
Yes.
Because, like, the shadow work is better when they're in the light, but there always feels like there's a shadow on them already. Mm-hmm. It's like they're all dark and muted. Speaking of colors, okay, I'm going to go on a 5-minute rant about color here in regards to their new outfits.
Okay.
Specifically Weiss, because this is what bothers me. I know.
You've been complaining about this outfit since, I guess, this season was released.
Since I saw the pictures of it. Volume 1 Weiss. Mm-hmm. Very simple, mostly white into a very pale blue at the accent to make it pop. Mm-hmm. With the red collar, kind of A as a pop of color, B as a way to like symbolize both like her grandfather with his red scarf. Yeah. And to just kind of incorporate the team colors because Ruby, Weiss, and Blake have always had red, white, and black incorporated into their designs, which means Yang was always a bit of the afterthought, but that kind of works for Yang's character.
Yeah.
Volume 4 Weiss. Her dress is blue, fading into gray, which symbolizes more of the fact that she's depressed and she's living with her father and she's having to, like, not be herself all around him, which makes sense. And then you're slowly getting back to the Weiss we know and love, especially within Volume 6 when she gets the red scarf as a little accent and a callback to her original outfit and the grandfather. So tell me why she's wearing this giant puffy blue coat that is the deepest shade of blue possible, which would, blue would be symbolizing, more depression. Why is it like the most prominent thing about the white character? The blue.
I think now it's changing its representation. Separating her more and more from the Weiss family name, the White family name,
the Schnee family name,
and very much giving a mature look. She looks so much older with this outfit.
Yeah.
And I think that's because it's more modest.
Yeah.
She's still got her boob cut out, slay queen.
They all have the boob cut out.
I really like her outfit.
The belts. There's way too many belts. There's way too many belts for me.
She looks like she's ready to go to the Renaissance Festival.
I understand the reason she needs multiple pouches because of her dust is so integral to her weapon. I just would not be comfortable with that many belts wrapped around my waist. I'm never comfortable with a single belt wrapped around my waist. I feel it cut into me. I think I need to buy a new belt.
It's cutting into you, yes.
Yeah, I think I need to buy a new belt.
Me too. Mine are disintegrating.
I don't have many notes on Ruby's. I like the look for Ruby. It's fine.
I love it. It's so edgy.
Yeah.
Which Ruby's has always been edgy, but like the
punky
hair change.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yang is fine.
Yang is so cool. Her like little aviator jumpsuit. She's so cool, edgy, and modest now.
I want to mock her though for the fact that she has that asymmetrical thing going on with her leg. Yeah. Where I'm like, it is freezing out there. You do not have to be the whole asymmetrical spark thing. I get that it's like your character. It is so impractical, girl. And it also reminds me of her father, the fact that he had his, like, long pants and then the cargo shorts that, like, just zipped off.
I love it.
As for Blake, she's literally just wearing a catsuit.
Wait, I don't remember what she looks like. RWBY. Blake. Season
7.
Why did it suggested I misspelled Blake?
Blake. Okay.
Very Cinder.
Ew, don't say that.
I'm right, though.
I hate that you're right. Okay, also, we finally killed the stupid white overcoat just for the stupid white overcoat to be back
But it
and bigger than ever.
It has her purple more, I feel like.
It does. It's a better shade of purple. I do like the purple. But the problem is it's the same shade of purple from the Volume 4 outfit in her little...
Yeah.
I would like if that was actually purple. Like that.
Yeah, it's 2 different shades of purple.
That's too many.
I love the bob.
I like the bob. I like the bi bob. I love the bi bob.
Queen.
I like Juniper's redesigns. The banana hair does not look nearly as bad as it did in the pictures I've seen.
Okay, yeah. I was like, is this the banana hair you're talking about?
It looked worse in the pictures.
He does look so much more like a dude.
Like a dude, bro.
Which I don't love.
No.
It's not my favorite part about Jaune. But I'm also just kind of happy to see Jaune smiling, so I almost don't even care.
Jaune with the MILFs.
Jaune's getting hit on. Okay? They're like fawning over him.
They're making him casseroles.
I love it.
It's so funny. What? Like, there are a few funny moments in there. There's that. There's the,
when Nora's trying to flirt with Ren, talking about his new outfit, and Ren's having his moment. Totally understandable moment. Yeah. Once again, reminding me of Avatar, because it's very Katara Aang moment. Being like, I'm not ready to have a relationship in the middle of a war.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
Anyways, and Jaune comes up to Nora. He's like, I like your outfit too! Amazing. Hilarious.
10 out of 10.
So funny.
I, too, would not be able to read that situation.
I love Jaune. That's the thing I'm the most surprised about this rewatch, is I love Jaune so much.
Yeah, I mean, like, the way that my opinion completely soured on him my first watch through, and now I'm just like, it's Jaune. I don't hate him. He's Jaune. He's doing his Jaune thing. Good for him.
Like,
it's very weird to me that I don't hate Jaune.
I get giddy every time I see him and Ruby together.
They're besties.
Because they're best friends, and they're the leaders.
Yes.
Like, this season is going back so much to season 1 and 2 in the sense of they're back in school again, they're back training, they're all together. It's always nice to see. And then...
Except Pyrrha.
Jaune and
him
Ruby.
staring at the scarf.
I know. But back to really that emphasis on Jaune and Ruby being their leaders. Which I just appreciate because they've grown so much and grown so much specifically as leaders.
I like that they're all a little underwhelmed by getting their huntsman licenses.
I love that.
I love that they're underwhelmed by that.
Staring at a degree.
Literally. Because it's like, I'm literally wearing my I graduated, can I go back to bed now shirt. Because it's like, yeah, you've worked your whole life towards something, and now it's like, you'd never really know your direction going forward again. Yeah. And I like that.
Though they're like living in the dorms again and everything, it still makes me sad that they are not getting an education.
Right.
Which it is hard to do when you have like a war happening.
Right. Well, think about it. If they were getting an education, they'd have to create new professor characters, and I'm already charactered out here.
True.
So I'm fine with it just being the Aesops.
Yeah.
Penny being back
is
great.
Yes!
But I am conflicted on how I feel about it in terms of, like, she remembers literally everything. Like, there was no real repercussion for her dying. Like, they didn't have to reboot her. There's no... She's just Penny. And I love Penny. I adore Penny. That would have been an interesting human conflict. There's not a lot of human conflict going on right now. It's very MacGuffin relics and the election. And these are things I don't care about. I would have loved and cared about a subplot of Ruby and Penny re-becoming friends.
Yeah.
Because what was really interesting during our first watch through is the gap between Volume 1 and 2, there is a major shift in how Ruby treats Penny. Because remember how she's like, oh, did I behave like this when we first met? To season 2, it's like, they're BFFs. And a lot of that happens off screen. So it would have been cool to see Volume 7, Ruby going out of her way to befriend Penny
again,
instead of
yeah.
like the other way around where Penny's like, are we friends now?
Yeah.
I would have liked that. And it would have given me something to root for because I don't care about Robin Hill. I don't care about Jaune. And I really don't care about the Salem fight.
Yeah.
But I care about Penny. I care about these characters.
Yes.
Ironwood also. Great character.
I love James. Anyways, back to Penny. I was just going to say to that they did not give themselves any time for anything else.
Right.
Because, like, even though I feel like we're missing something, it's a thing after a thing after a thing.
Yeah.
There is, like, every time is being taken up by something that never seems not important. Or to something.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we have no time for goofing around. That's why there's, like, no time for these human things. Except for Ren and Nora. Which I loved. James. I love James. I'll say it again and again. He deserves to know the truth.
Yes. What was that about?
It does make me scared. Like, I don't think that the character's fear is going to be proved right. I don't think so. But I'm like, at least, I don't think it should be, but I feel like it could be. Like, I feel like that's what the writers are telling us.
I think it's intensely hypocritical of them.
Yeah.
Because y'all literally punched Oscar out for the Ozpin lying by omission.
Yeah.
And a lie by omission is still a lie.
Yeah.
He literally does go out of his way to be like, I want y'all to know that everything's up front. And that should twist the knife a little bit more. The characters are allowed to make bad choices. That is not the problem. It is a bad choice that does not make sense with the narrative as it has been written.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it.
Yeah. Like, I'm annoyed that it's happening. I still kind of get it.
Yeah.
In the sense of it's hard to trust anyone that hasn't been with them. And I don't feel bad about Ruby keeping that secret because she's a 17-year-old girl, not a centuries-year-old man.
Right.
You know? Like, she is still learning.
Right.
And, like, you know, making 17-year-old girl mistakes, having those reasonable guards up. Centuries-old man does not need to be lying to everyone. He should know better.
Yeah. Well, it was funny is that you pointing that out. The thing about their outfits is that it makes them look much older than they are, and I think that's what's jarring for the brain is that they're acting like adult. They're miming adulthood, but they're not actually adults, and that's okay. They're like not even 20 yet. Like if we do the math here, I think maybe the oldest is probably Yang at 20.
You think?
Let's think about it. They must at least 17 or 18 when they went to Beacon. A year and a half, 2 years passed. The oldest any of them has to be is 20.
Yeah.
Not counting Crow. Who finally got an outfit change. No one from Team Stark has changed outfits in 25 years. And Crow finally changes clothes because he's like, I gotta look gayer for this man.
Yes. You mentioned it that their outfits are, like, inverted.
Yes!
Oh, I'm so ready to see them make out. Screw Bumblebee.
Fuck Bumblebee. All I care about is Now, they are putting in seeds for Bumblebee. Which is interesting.
Oh, for sure.
I like that.
For sure.
I like that it's like a tepid, the hair moment.
The marrow moment. That was so funny.
That's
Like,
hysterical.
why do y'all always pair up? And they're like, let us fight this Graham in the gayest way possible. And he's like, all right. I love the lesbians. Don't worry.
No, they were like, if God hates the gays, why do we keep winning?
Them going out by themselves to go with
by themselves.
Team Funky. Funky return.
I
love
hate
it.
them.
I think it's so funny.
I hate them so much. The only cool thing I have ever seen about Team Funky on screen is that after the fight, Flint blows spit out of his trumpet, which is somebody who owns 3 trumpets. That is a thing you have to do. It's disgusting and it is true.
Have you seen that video about the orchestra or whatever that has a plant that's purely being survived off the spit?
That is disgusting.
It's disgusting. That plant is thriving. That plant is thriving.
Oh, I did not need to know that. Oh my god, that is literally the only cool thing I've ever seen about Funky. I hate that they're there. But I love that Blake and Yang went dancing and that Weiss was not in the mood to third wheel for them.
Yes, she saw them like dancing with each other and she was like, I'll go to the movies.
With Jaune and Oscar.
Yes.
The 2 characters she probably interacts with intentionally the least.
Yes. Look, if Jaune and Weiss have a moment, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we
I'm
know
okay
why
with
you
it.
were okay with it.
Oscar's about to be a third wheel.
Neon literally flirted with him.
the baby.
The fetus!
Neon is probably 20.
Yes!
Like Yang. And she flirted with the 14-year-old.
Just so many things to hate about Team Funky. So many things. Winter.
Sorry. I was just thinking about... You continue.
Tell me. No, tell me.
I was just thinking about how Winter is gonna be the Winter Maiden.
We literally roasted Cinder 3 volumes ago for being Cinder Fall Maiden. We're doing this again.
An autumn.
The fake out of Vernal, a synonym for spring, not being the Spring Maiden. And now Winter is literally being groomed, just like Pyrrha, to be the next Maiden.
Yeah.
Like, if we're talking about going back to our roots, this is Volume 3 Pyrrha. I am literally just watching Volume 3 Pyrrha.
It's interesting.
Which hopefully it does not end the same way as Volume 3 Pyrrha, because if Winter dies, I riot.
I can't even handle that thought.
It's a possibility.
The only reason I was able to handle Pyrrha dying is because I already knew. If Winter dies, I won't recover.
I will never emotionally recover from this.
Weiss needs her. They need each other.
They literally are all they have in terms of, like... Well, Weiss is definitely all that Winter has. Like, you can count General Ironwood, but, like...
That's a complicated relationship.
That is a complicated relationship. Weiss is literally all Winter has. Mm-hmm. And that's why she shows her the Winter Maiden. It's like, This is my... And again, that's what's so annoying, is because they keep showing Team RWBY all the reasons why they're like, hey, we're basically being upfront with you about everything.
About everything.
About everything. Honestly, concerningly amount of everything.
I know, speaking of which, that's the whole plan. That's the goal of the season, is to tell the whole world about everything.
Which I don't care about.
Which I love.
It's a good plan. I just don't care.
I love James. Mm-hmm. Like, I can only think of one other time that I have cared about a military character in a show, and that's Full Metal Alchemist. Which, real quick, though I don't ship these two characters together, James and Winter definitely give Roy Mustang, Riza Hawkeye vibes. Both these characters in these two different shows working towards not being bad.
Right. Well, James is such a good man, and that is the best thing about his character. Yeah. Because he's obviously based off of the Tin Man, and which character said Ironwood's heart is in the right place? I like that. I like that it's like, he is trying his best, and it is so admirable. He is... I'm not really feeling a lot of the feelings right now, but he is the most real person right now. He feels like a real human being. Yes. Everybody else kind of feels like a caricature at moments.
Yes.
The first episode was kind of terrible, and I say that in a way that it was the Volume 5 problem of everybody was talking when they didn't need to be talking. And they were all acting so confused for reasons that I did not comprehend. Yeah. Didn't like it. It's almost like they didn't trust that we watched the Volume 6 finale.
Yeah, the first part is the end.
Yeah.
Of Volume 6.
Basically. It's like literally just... It's like,
what is all this? I'm like, you knew the forces are back and central whatever.
It's like, I've never seen our military this aggressively deployed. It's a military! What about it is confusing to you? You grew up in a militaristic culture. Weiss! Girl! Oh, we don't want to land on a stolen airship. And like, they clearly don't register the fact that you're stolen because the chick let you go. Yeah. What was her name? Fascist.
Miss Fascist.
Miss Fascist let them go. She was like, we'll let it slide. Yeah. Why were they acting like that?
I don't know.
I mean, like, if you, like, showed this to me from an objective perspective, you would think that they're kind of the bad guys here. Yeah. I'll commend this. At least it is very easy for me to hate Tyrion and Watts. Your face immediately fell.
I just hate them so much.
They're just the worst. I don't care about them. It's like I think the only character that has had something interesting in that group of Salem characters is Hazel. Mm-hmm. Because he has a very valid reason to be upset. He doesn't have a valid reason to be with Salem, but he has a valid reason to be upset. Yeah. From what I can tell, Tyrion is just a fanatic, and Watts just want to be like, I was a disgraced military Atlas personnel. I must prove my wit and intelligence.
I do not care.
I don't care.
I
just don't care.
I don't care.
It's very hard to be invested in that kind of stuff. I guess that's just what's missing for me right now is just the emotional investment. Because I hated the whole Oz backstory. I was still a little invested.
Yeah.
I am not attached right now.
It's still, like, having a story of your mentor downfall is still compelling and interesting, even if it's annoying.
Right.
Which reminds me, there's something I need to tell you. Anyways. It's just a lot of stuff. What I'm hoping is a lot of stuff to gear up to stuff I'm interested in. That's what I'm hoping.
Speaking of things I'm not interested in, it is very hard for me to get excited at the mention of Summer Rose. The only reason we know anything about the Summer Rose situation is because Jeff Williams was like, hey, what if she's visiting her dead mother's grave?
Yeah.
And they were like, that's cool. Let's run with it.
That's cool.
It's like, wow. It's almost like one of them is good at telling stories, and it's not the writers. You've got Red Like Roses Part 2, which gives us the only clear image of Ruby's thoughts on anything.
Yeah.
And Yang hasn't really gotten a chance to process it either, because her subplots have mostly been about Raven. So it's just very hard for me to get invested in the idea of Summer, but it is interesting to me that whatever killed her was not an Oz mission, unless he really, really was good at lying about it.
I know.
That is interesting to me. I will point that out.
It's interesting. It is a bit annoying, because that tells me that talk she had with Crow, Ruby had with Crow, where they finally bring up Summer again, which is just exciting to hear. For me, I do find it exciting, because I'm like, yay, good. Finally someone, like, actually mentions her.
7 seasons in.
Besides being like, you have silver eyes like your mom. Yes. Thank you. It's another cop-out. In the way that they have that conversation, because Crow's like, Oz seemed pretty in the dark whenever that happened. But also, maybe it was another lie. And, like, that tells me you haven't decided what it is yet. Because you still having both the options of it being related to Ozpin and being unrelated still up in the air.
I would like to refer to it as the Ren discussing semblances problem of it's either one thing, the complete opposite, or completely unrelated.
Yes.
What's been really interesting is that even though we're watching this semi-regularly, I'm editing it slower than a snail, but we're watching this show semi-regularly now, and I really just have to point out how terrible this must have been to watch week to week.
Oh. Yeah, awful.
Horrible. Like, if the reason I am even remotely having a good time with the material itself is because I'm not having to wait for it. And I think that is part of the reason why the fandom became so toxic and inhospitable, because, like, if I had to wait week to week for this again,
I'd go crazy too.
I'd go insane. I'd go feral. It's the weirdest show where it works better on a binge.
Yes.
That should not be the case.
Yeah. Especially if you're releasing, like, this in the web format.
Yeah.
And everything. If it was, like, Netflix, it'd be different. It'd be expected.
Right.
And it can be used to the advantage, I think. But it's like they're not using their episodic week to week to its advantage.
Because, like, Red vs. Blue also works really good in movie format. But you can also just sit down and watch an episode of RVB and be like, cool, satisfied. Unless things take a drastic turn upward, this is probably going to be bottom 3 for me.
Oh. I mean, yeah.
I'm not having a good time.
For me,
I want to be having a good time.
I can see that. But mainly just because there's just one really bad volume. I feel bad ranking them sometimes, because it's just like
5 is so bad that it makes the rest of the show bad by comparison.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
No season would I ever put next to season 5.
No.
Even, like,
this is not as bad as season 5. No. It is nowhere near that bad. Let me be clear about that. But I'm also not enjoying it in the same way that I enjoy to love the Quirks of One, which is the other lowest ranked volume for me right now.
Yeah.
Because, nostalgia or not, volume 1 is fun.
It's fun!
And I care about everything that's happening, and it's silly and it's goofy, and it's not emulating the vibes of itself Because I feel like season 7 is trying to be
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3 again. And that's not impossible to pull off. Like, the chorus trilogy is not perfect, but the chorus trilogy of Red vs. Blue is a really interesting phenomenon of season 11 completely sibling in tone to the Blood Gulch Chronicles. And the fact that there's no animation and it's fully machinimated. I love that. And then season 12 is very spiritually similar to the Recollection, Reconstruction.
Yes.
And then season 13 is very much like the Project Freelancer arc of, like, it's all big. And I have issues with it here and there, but on the whole, I like the chorus trilogy quite a bit. And you can do that. You can do... After that, you know, it's become increasingly clear that I kind of want to make March my Let's Talk About RVB month, even though no one asks for it and no one likes it. I asked for it. Yay, I have someone asking for it. Y'all can't get mad when I make March RVB month. Ooh, should I do 16 next year to torture myself?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Slate it on the video docket. But yeah, it's just not it's not impossible to do, but it's not going well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be mean. I hate that I'm not liking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very weird sensation.
Penny's eyes are interesting, in the sense that they are so red. There's, like, her blush, of course, but then there's red around her eyes.
Yeah.
And I know she's a robot, whatever. But I feel like it gives us a hint as to what the crew is about to experience. And that's this overworking, intense training. And, like, you see them get tired, lose the joy a little bit of doing what they've always wanted to do.
And I like that a lot.
And honestly, for a sec, there's something I love. For a second there, I'm like, damn, James needs to, like, not work them this hard. And then he comes in and he's like, I'm demanding y'all take a day off. He's like, y'all are going too hard. I'm like, there is no reason to dislike this man.
In the absence of Sun, Ironwood has become the new best boy.
Yes. And I miss Sun so much. I miss him.
He was the sunshine. He was sunshine. I was midnight rain.
And I feel like we didn't talk about it enough. Ren and Nora. They're so cute. Anyways.
They're having issues.
They're having issues, but like a couple.
Yeah.
Which is real.
Yeah.
So they're still not official.
No.
Which is funny.
Yes.
And
the subtextual talk about Ren and Nora with the Blake and Yang just being like, really? Just friends? And he's like, well, maybe.
I love it. They're like an old married couple already.
Yes.
And I love it. And
because they've known each other since they were like, what, 6?
Yeah.
It's obvious that they're going to be like...
Yeah. And it's so good. And he's just like, maybe some of us don't know what to talk about. And she's like, well, then let's not. And they kiss.
And then a massacre happens.
So they're probably traumatized and never going to kiss again. But a girl can hope.
This is the second time something horribly, catastrophically wrong has gone on after 2 characters have kissed.
I hate this.
Like, Jaune and Pyrrha kiss, Pyrrha dies. Ren and Nora kiss, at least 7 people die. Romance is do you understand the horrible massacres that must have occurred when Yang and Ruby were conceived?
Anyways, I'm just very happy to see them kiss. They better do it again. They deserve to be happy and together.
Well, I hate how that wasn't the interesting moment. It was like the afterthought to the politics subplot. And I would much rather be caring about the fact that they finally kissed and not the fact that Tyrion is there to ruin everything.
I know.
Their priorities are mixed up right here.
I hate it. And they do this thing where they show Ren opening his eyes to look at all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh no. Throughout this whole season, there was like the tidbits, like Nora trying to flirt, Ren not responding, whatever. Right. But now it's like finally blowing up.
Yep.
Immediately seemed like it was about to be solved.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's going to be a problem again.
It's going to be worse, probably.
Yeah. Fuck Tyrion. And also we didn't mention it before. I love Nora's outfit. I like the change of where the heart's located. Yeah. It's really cute. Ren's is But it's with love to Ren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like the weapon upgrades.
Those are fun.
I like the explosives in Yang's gauntlets. I like that Ren's kind of have a cool...
He did something! I forgot.
Yes.
Yes. Ren did something.
Yes, his weapon wasn't completely useless. I needed to shout that out. I needed to draw attention to that. I don't think Nora got really much of an upgrade.
She has the lightning dust finally, like...
Okay, yeah.
Actually, like, part of... Which, I don't know if that's an upgrade or just her finally using the product.
And then you've got the fact that instead of just upgrading Blake's stupid sword, they just welded it back together with yellow metal.
Yeah.
That's very funny to me.
It's cute.
It's very gay, but it's
Very
also
gay.
very funny to me.
Jaune finally has a landing strategy. That, seeing them do all their landing strategies had me tear up a little.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to this whole thing of them trying to go back to season 1 energy.
Yeah. Should we talk about the Happy Huntresses?
Oh, yeah. They're there.
They're there.
I don't get it. Pardon me.
Too many characters.
There's too many characters.
There's just too many characters.
I feel like they're trying to make me feel like how I felt about Adam for her, but she's not. She's not doing anything wrong.
No. I mean, it's weird, but I'm kind of like wishing she was a faunus.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe switch her and the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
I said it was just Robin Hood, but woman. You said...
It's Artemis and her huntresses.
Yeah.
But she's definitely, like, based off Robin Hood. Her name's Robin Sparkles. But, it's definitely...
Sparkles.
You know, How I Met Your Mother?
Yes, I know what you're referencing. That's why I'm laughing.
Good.
I don't even like that show, and I think that's funny.
I love How I Met Your Mother. I have a hot take, but whatever. I'll save that for never. I love it. She looks like Barbie.
Yes. This Barbie is here to lose an election.
I feel like there's a specific one from one of the Barbie animated movies that she reminds me of, but I can't place it.
Is it the Swan Lake one?
Maybe.
I'm thinking Swan Lake. Let's just get back into this show, because if we don't, we're never going to get there.
Get into it, yeah.
All right. We'll be back.
Who will you see? Darkness when no one is watching.
Do I look pretty?
You always look pretty.
Blank tail.
What the hell?
This was so sad.
What the actual hell?
They killed the gay.
Disgusted is the wrong word, but I'm pissed off.
I know. We went going through like the stages of grief.
We really were. A, the writing is misleading.
Mm-hmm.
B, what a waste of a character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually just wasted him.
Yeah.
Like, he was prominent, but not nearly enough. Like, give me at least another volume with him.
And that's what I'm surprised about.
Because the way he died is stupid.
It was so dumb.
So dumb.
There was just so many emotions going crazed with the characters.
Everyone acted feral for a good 30 minutes.
Yeah. Especially the adults.
Yes.
The adults are going crazy in these last few episodes. It should have been Robin. Sorry, I just had to make sure that was said at some point.
You should say it louder, actually, for the people in the back.
It should have been Robin.
It's literally her fault. When Crow is staring at Clover's pin and she's like, I'm like, get your hands off him.
Yes.
You are the reason
Yes.
he is dead. Well,
And that Tyrion is free.
3 morons fighting in a ship with a known sociopath.
I do not support the killing of criminals. They should have killed that man.
There is an exception that needs to be made. Especially with him and Watts.
Yes, I can't believe the whole time we're like the last few episodes we're thinking that James threw him into the lava.
Which would have been so good.
So great. And then come find out he's just in prison.
Just chilling in a cell. We live in a different world, so let me live by a different or interesting moral compass. Especially when that moral compass is a serial killer
Yes.
who has no right to be in prison. Y'all are fictional characters. Just kill him.
Just kill him.
There is no... Prison breaks are a thing. It's just a...
Especially for fictional characters.
It's just so mind-numbing. And the fact that, like, the way that the shot is framed when Tyrion... Like, what did he... Did Tyrion just, like, fast run with the blade to go, like, skewer Clover from behind?
I don't remember.
It was...
Oh, but the shot. And then, like, making it seem like it was Crow that did it.
The scene where he breaks his thumbs... Disgusting. Like,
I hate that man.
actually grotesque. I did not need to see that.
It's annoying because it was some of the best growth that Crow was getting.
Yes!
And now, only thing I can see them next volume, he breaks his sobriety. Like, so easily I can see. If he's, you know,
He's
able
in jail.
to.
He's in jail. No, what?
Or he's gonna just wallow into a depressive state and just stay in jail. Like, he's not gonna attempt any sort of breaking out, any sort of helping his nieces that he loves so much.
I see that happening to him.
Which is something that usually, like, even his most depressed state motivates him.
Yeah.
But this is such
a blow.
a blow.
He had a great line about, like, you haven't met my friends. This is how it always goes.
Yeah.
But I almost lose the sympathy because he just took a drink of the stupid juice and said, let me team up with the serial killer who tried to kill me 3 volumes ago. It's almost like Crow has so masterfully internalized his self-loathing that he actively sabotages the good things in his life.
Yes. Tyrion not being his priority is so out of character.
It really is. I don't follow it.
Yeah. Because, like, even disregarding his, like, the people that were around him, like, his goal is always to protect, like, his family. And I'm just like, Tyrion has come after, like, Ruby before. Wouldn't doubt him coming after Yang. Like, this is, like, someone you need to protect your family from.
It is literally a character-breaking moment.
And the whole time we were just screaming, like, what are these characters doing?
None of it
was, like,
made sense.
It was like the adults. Like, all the children, they're doing what they do.
They're
you
doing
know,
what they do.
Whatever.
I mean, at least they were in character. I don't have any complaints about that
Yeah.
in terms of, like, that is what they would do.
But all the adults, it just was so annoying.
The more of Robin Hill we got, the less I liked her. And I hate that I hate her.
I know, I want to
She was
like her.
insufferable by the end.
She's supposed to be the woman of the people, and I like women of the people, but...
I really wish that the core conflict about the plane crash killed Robin, Tyrion runs, and the two of them have to square off. But they don't kill... I don't know what I wanted, but I don't like...
I didn't like them. Yeah.
Like, literally him saying, like, why couldn't you just do what you wanted instead of what you were told? That was not earned. That was like a 2-minute do the right thing, and he's like, I'm sure Ironwood is right. And I'm like, that's interesting. Why? Why do the Aesops have so much loyalty toward Ironwood? That's the problem when you add in 5 new characters where it's like, I can understand why
Winter.
I can understand why Winter would be down to do whatever Ironwood wanted, because she needs a new dad.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
that's
she
already
does.
well established.
Yes.
That's something that we've been introduced to, we've seen the depth of, and we even already got that, like, countering, you know, thoughts in the season already.
Yes.
And we see her lose it because she lets the team get away.
Yes. But we do not have time for the Aesops in this, like...
No.
Like, Clover, why do you trust Ironwood with your life? I wish I knew. You died.
No.
Stupidly. That sucked.
They deserve to be together.
Literally,
'Cause
it was so...
Their semblances balance each other out. Like, in reality, Crow's semblance was not what happened.
Maybe?
Maybe, but in reality, like, his good luck should counter his bad luck.
Yeah, it should just
It
be
should
a neutral playing field.
Which I
And
guess
then you got
in
the Age of
reality
Chaos.
could be, like, the downfall, because they both rely on it so much. Especially when your goddamn weapon is a fishing hook.
Why am I remembering that their ship name is Fair Game? Am I having a memory of that? Did I watch this volume?
Girl, what?
We have not had gay men yet. We've had sapphics. Just give us...
Like I said, this would have been one of the healthiest relationships I've seen developed. till
Literally.
then. And even then,
Of any gender.
if they just didn't kill each other, they could have gotten over it.
Yes. I hate killing characters because it's such a definitive end to development. And sometimes it works. It worked with Pyrrha. As much as it hurt to lose Pyrrha, it worked.
It worked.
This didn't work. I don't know what the purpose of is. I just hate it. Passionately.
We're baiting.
It was. And that word is used too much these days. And you should never use it in the context of actual real people. That's not a thing. Stop doing that. That was queer baiting.
That scream provided by the new voice actor. Amazing. Kid, I don't know who you are. But you killed it.
And I didn't even really understand their final conversation.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Because Crow's clearly like, I'm going to make Ironwood pay.
And Clover's just like...
Yes.
Dying.
He's dying, but he doesn't, like, disagree. Because normally, what I feel like normally would have been said in that is, it's not his fault, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That did not happen.
But he didn't. I don't remember what he said, but it was nothing against...
Someone had to take the fall.
Yeah. It was nothing against Crow's clearly possibly going for a revenge path.
Yeah.
It was nothing that would have stopped that.
I'm about to really embarrass myself here. I don't fully know what martial law is.
Oh, yeah. Let's look that up.
Okay, so it's not just me.
I was like, I feel like when I read it, I'm going to be like, yeah.
Because I think I know what martial law is, but, like, I did not study that.
So it's when military's in charge.
Yeah.
It's like, shit's going down.
Okay, but, like, aren't they already a military dictatorship?
Well, they have a council.
Oh, who gives a shit about the council?
No one.
We wasted so much time on a political arc when we could have been talking about, like... Give me at least a conversation where Crow and Clover have different opinions about political ideology. Mm-hmm. Like, following orders versus doing whatever you want. Yeah. Which would have made it worse, but, you know.
Which is something that so clearly...
It was the theme of the volume.
Theme of the volume, and, like, that's such a big part of Crow's character.
Mm-hmm.
Is both the desire to do whatever you want, but also following someone. Because he followed Ozzy, like, so much of his adult life. Yeah. And had that torn apart.
And he's almost, like, warning Clover about Ironwood. Oh, you could have had a parallel arc.
Just like they had parallel clothes.
I don't get upset about this kind of shit. I'm not that person. I'm not that fan. Except for the fact that I don't, like, on that note, I don't hate ships. I hate Ruby and Oscar. I hate that
Why is
idea.
that a thing?
That is
remember I talked about
to
this
me.
when Oscar was first introduced, or when they were doing, like, their training or whatever, and I was, like, I remember watching it when it came out, and I was like, I think Ruby and Oscar are supposed to be a thing. And it stopped. And they just brought it back this volume.
I'm sorry if you ship it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I
don't
really
see a reason for it yet.
No.
And especially don't see a reason for it if Ozzy is going to
still
stay there.
there.
He's still there. That is millions of year old man.
You've got the worst
16-year-old lady
of age gaps where she is 3 years older at least than Oscar. But then Oscar, if he merges with Ozpin, is thousands of years older than her.
This is like the Kane Chronicles.
Oh.
With Sadie.
No.
I forgot Anubis about and Carter. Wait, no, not Carter. That's her brother. the other guy.
I know who you're talking about, though. The one that was, like, doomed to die.
Yes. But instead they merged because she was in a love triangle, which...
The worst resolution to a love triangle is making the man the same. Like,
I think it's the funniest.
It's hysterical. I hate it.
I would be neutral to it if Ozpin was not a factor.
But that is the factor, and that is why I cannot ever be neutral on it. Unless Ozpin is, like, released from his burden and gets to pass on.
Which I hope so. This man needs to stop ruining this world.
He really just... Well, who's stupid? It was his stupid idea to be like, hey... Let's lift a chunk of earth out of the air and give people hope. But it's like, you have literally put them in the shadow.
Yeah.
He doesn't think anything through.
And they're like, we're out of Grimm's way. You really aren't.
No, because you had a World of Remnant where they said, LOL, can't fly because they're a Grimm there.
Yeah.
But World of Remnant doesn't matter. So why did we watch it?
Now their solution is to raise it up more. And they're like, the climate control system, it will be all right. I'm like... Does the climate control system account for ozones and breathing? Does it account for atmosphere? Because I feel like it may not.
Didn't miss Oz, but I missed Shannon McCormick.
Yeah.
Cinder got good.
Yeah, Cinder's pretty good.
That screech of agony.
That was really good.
That is good. I am very happy for Jessica Negri. I hate that Cinder's here. I don't want her anywhere near me. I was having a good time.
I forgot about her new outfit. She looks freaking hot. Like, this is the first time her seduction vibe has worked.
Oh, no.
And maybe that's because it's finally decent voice acting.
Mm.
And she's got the baddie thigh-high, short skirt, cape, gloves. Dream fit. It's weird having Christina V be Robin Hill. I love her voice, but she, like, I
hate Robin.
I can't get Marinette Dupen Chang out of my head from the Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. And I feel bad because she's really not that bad of a voice actor. I think it's because that's such a big role.
Mm-hmm.
Once I realized it was her, I'm just like, Marinette. Like, I'm giggling.
And see, I haven't seen Miraculous, so I did not associate that,
You're lucky.
I guess.
It's a fun show. It is.
I've heard mixed things.
It's not good.
Okay, cool.
We now are introduced fully to the merging idea of Ozzy and Oscar. Ironwood, and earlier in the season, he brought Oscar down there. He's like, I really need Ozpin's advice, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm not him. And then later, we see him come down the elevator, standing exactly like Ozpin. And
It was a good fake out.
yeah. And we really thought they fully merged. Because that's, early in the season, that's when Ironwood was like, you will eventually merge.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see now that they're on that path of fully merging.
He is too calm about that.
Yeah,
He's
especially because
entirely too calm about that.
Ozzy was like, it's actually you who are controlling the powers. Like, whenever he's, like, saved them or whatever.
Can I laugh about Robin's semblance?
Her Wonder Woman
Lasso of
lasso of
truth.
truth.
And the fact that I'm like, every other semblance...
Are we friends?
Yes.
I could trust you. You're telling the truth.
Okay.
She's just like, I have to hold people.
Yeah, like, how did you figure that out? Like, Mom, do you love me? But, like, the fact that everybody else has, like, a semblance that's a combat advantage, and she's just, like...
She has a political advantage one.
She has a political advantage. That's funny. But the fact that she's not a very good politician.
Yeah. My first note that I have is the robot Pat. When she
That
just...
was so funny!
When she was... When another girl getting framed for murder.
Episode 6s are not kind to the girlies for getting framed for murder. The fact that Penny and Winter are literally just living out the Halo 4 Master Chief and Cortana arc of, like, which one of us is the machine. You didn't play Halo 4, did you?
I don't play video games that give me anxiety. I love their friendship.
Yes, it is a very interesting dynamic.
It's like, you can see Penny clearly trying to, like, comprehend humans, because constantly getting different
Feedback.
pieces of information of how humans feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then she becomes a Winter Maiden.
She does.
Which, that's a thing? That's possible? Can she? And she clearly can.
Yeah.
But it's...
It validates her womanhood.
We love women.
We always kind of viewed Penny as kind of like a coming out story.
Yes.
So I like that she is.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't know why. I don't care about the maidens. And what's so funny to me is that this central MacGuffin to the entire narrative was added before season 3. What show would this have been had Monty not come up with that idea last minute?
Yeah.
I'm very interested to know the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm. I love seeing Cinder go crazy and not get what she wants this time.
Well, she kind of got the lamp, but...
Whatever. She doesn't even know how to use it.
She really doesn't.
It only gives you one question.
Yeah, there's only one left.
Even then, max it could give you is 3. Once every, thousands of years? 100 years?
Yep.
That shit is useless.
It really... All of the relics are so useless. Like, 3 questions every 100 years. One thing at a time for the staff.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, gods.
I will say, I'm more of a Penny Ruby shipper. Ruby and Oz shipper. Oscar.
I'll take anything over Oscar and Ruby.
But it was just really
Anything.
cute to see, like, Ruby leaning on her, and then Weiss, because Weiss leaning on her is so cute, because Weiss was, like, anti-Penny when Penny was first introduced, like, more so than everyone else, because she hates fun.
My favorite scene, I think, at least top 3 for the entire volume, is Weiss and her mother.
Yes.
I like that the way that Willow was written as compared to, like, sometimes they go a little too overboard and, like, the trope that they want to play into. Tyrion, too much of a crazed sociopath. Jacques, too much of an unsympathetic asshole. Willow felt real.
Yeah.
In a disturbing kind of way.
It's so, like, depth to the motherhood.
Depth to the motherhood. The scene where she takes a drink from the bottle and the Weiss's body is fully in the bottle. That is such a good scene. Because, again, in her being like, don't forget your brother.
Yes.
That was a good scene. She's like, of course he doesn't want anything to do with you. You left him alone with us.
Yes.
And she included herself in that.
What I'm getting from that is that Jacques was not who he was. She would have been a decent mother, but she got stuck into this abusive relationship. Clearly an abusive relationship.
The fact that she put cameras everywhere.
Yeah. And then I feel like that is what caused her to become different kind of abusive mother.
Emotionally detached.
Yeah.
And the way that it just brought out a different facet of Weiss.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she's with her dad, she's standoffish and she's combative. Not so much so that she actively invokes his rage, but in a way that is like, I'm defining my own personhood and I think I know how to behave around you now. She had no defense mechanisms ready for her mother.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting to me. And the music in that scene, I didn't like any of the lyrical songs in the first half of the volume. The entire volume throughout, the score
Amazing.
did not miss.
Amazing.
Did not miss.
music.
And the lyrical songs got so much better after the massacre.
There's a bunch of singers? Question mark.
Yeah, there was just 4 singers in that song. And I love the fact that you get 4 singers. I was like, dang, you get like all 4 members of Team RWBY in a song? That's cool.
Crazy.
I loved it when Ironwood shot Oscar.
That was really funny.
I unironically
Really good.
burst out laughing when that happened. I love the child murder.
There's a lot of things I liked. When, like, the Grim attacks and stuff is first happening, and they follow the movement with the camera.
The camera work is very good this volume.
I like, mouth open. That was amazing. It did so well at, like, showing all the different things that's happening, giving us a sense of the environment, which is really hard to do with animation, especially if you're trying to save some money. But it did great. Another scene I really loved was, of course, Ren going to attack Neo, and then she says Nora, and then she does Nora's, like, feared face, and it causes Ren to cry. And
That was good.
not
I love that
not
trope.
shoot.
I love that trope.
Love that trope.
No, but I'm laughing because all of the lighting budget went to the camera work. It got worse. Somehow the lighting got worse. Because there were parts of it where I liked it, where it was darker in mantle, which kind of added to the urgency of the situation. I could not see a good 30% of this volume.
Yeah.
With all of the lights turned off.
Yeah.
I love the groundwork they're laying for Bumblebee.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what people were talking about. It's pretty organically building. And I like that it's not immediately, like, spoken between them.
Yes.
I like that it's building up. I also like how they allude to the fact that they totally killed a man last volume.
Yeah.
Like, y'all haven't processed that. And that's what I got really frustrated about, is that there's a scene in the dorms where Oscar is with the girls, and I became so hyper over the fact that we have not had Team RWBY on their own, on screen, the entire volume.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would love it if the 4 of them had some kind of an actual conversation without anybody else in the environment.
We got like 5 seconds when they were planning what they were doing that night. And then Jaune
That was
and
it.
Oscar came in being like, we're going to the movies. May I complain a little bit? I wanted to see a scene of Yang and Blake at the club and Jaune, Weiss, and Oscar at the movies.
That would have been nice.
That would have been so cute. Could totally see like a gag happening with the movies between Jaune and Oscar or something.
Like Jaune going for Weiss's hand, but it's actually Oscar's.
Bro, if we got Weiss flirting with Jaune again, hilarious. Like, that would have been so funny.
When has she flirted with him?
Jaune flirting with Weiss again.
Okay, you said it the other way around. I was like, when has she flirted with him?
Him coming back from the bathroom for a second, and for some reason Oscar and Weiss switched spots. And he, like, would go to do, like, the arm thing, and it's Oscar.
And Oscar kind of being like, yeah, all right.
I could see Oscar doing his Oz voice, too. I'm like, sir.
Give me Blake and Yang awkwardly kind of like dancing around it. Maybe
They should have been
building...
grinding on each other. Don't tell me awkwardly dancing around it. They're at a club.
I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think middle school dance vibes.
God. I don't even remember middle school dances like that. I just remember it, like, jumping around, doing the wobble.
I remember all the math teachers doing a line dance.
I don't remember it, but I can imagine it.
All we got was the dumb political subplot, and it's like, give me just a blip. Give me a scene of them ignoring Team Funky.
Yes.
And, like, kind of, and then the fact that the Grimm sirens go off and it kind of ruins the moment.
Yes. Or Team Funky, like, I can totally see Neon, like, flirting
Making fun of them,
but also flirting with both of them to annoy each other.
That would have been so
funny.
funny. Neon's annoying stuff would finally have served a plot purpose.
I can also see them doing a joke with the lights for the dress people and them getting confused on who's who because they're playing with the lights and so it looks like the opposite.
Please.
That would have been so funny.
Please.
Jesus, we need to be in the writing room for this shit.
We do. No, what was so sad is that you could barely tell that there were 2 new writers because it just did not drastically improve, nor did it drastically get worse, but it just stayed just about the same, if not a little bit worse.
Some great lines. I wish I could remember them because there were a lot that I loved.
There were, and then there were a lot that I hated.
Cringe lines.
And that's what I wrote down at one point. I was like, where did I write that? Because it'll say a lot about what I was experiencing at the time. The scene where they were talking to Jacques in the dining room, I said, this is cringe, but not enjoyable cringe.
Yeah.
Her going, oh my chair. Yeah, still me. I'm still here. I'm like,
why did she say that? I hate it. I had neutral feelings to her till that.
and then she helped the killing of Clover. So then I was like, we are not friends anymore.
Oh, something real
So
quick.
many tonal whiplash moments. Just in general.
Yeah.
Like, oh, la-ti-da, we're gonna spill wine on Whitley. The most emotionally devastating scene between an alcoholic woman and her daughter.
And then a city is on the brink of collapsing because someone turned off the heat.
Mom, it's snowing! Which I get, like, that's supposed to be, like, kind of, like, the childlike innocence.
Yeah.
Not understanding that horror is about to ensue. But also, I'm like, my neck already hurts a lot on a daily basis. I did not need that much, like, whiplash. R.I.P. Klein being fired.
I was so excited to see Klein. They're like, we're going to the Schnee house, woo! And I was like, yay, Klein, this is amazing. Whole volume's redeemed.
No Klein.
Let go, and now gay little Whitley is opening their door for guests.
He seems to have adopted your affect. I mean, I liked Whitley a lot more this volume.
Oh, yeah. He is teenage boy. He's just reflecting what's around him.
Yep.
I forgive him for being teenage boy. Doesn't mean I like seeing this teenage boy.
Yeah.
He can't apparently drive. We learned that.
Yeah, apparently he has a parking spot at the company.
Dad, give me my own parking spot at the company.
The way Nora talks and behaves,
Yes!
it's as if she's from Mantle.
I think she's from Mantle.
I think she's from Mantle. I don't know how the heck she wound it up on the other continent,
Who knows?
but the way that she
Sneaking
talks
onto his
about
ship.
it,
She feels so passionate for the people there.
yes, it is a very noteworthy thing. And the fact that Ren does not says a lot about where he's
Their
doing
classes.
mentally and what he's doing class-wise.
Because, like, they clearly come from different classes, and even though it's been so long and they've shared many of the same tragedies, there's still
He
such a
experienced
difference.
it differently.
Yeah, it's like
That was the loss of his home. That was just another place for Nora.
that was just another tragedy that she witnessed.
Yes.
And so if she's not from Mantle, she's clearly from somewhere that's similar to that.
Yes. Do I remember theories of Freya being Nora's grandmother?
Oh.
I remember theories of that because they had the same Greek-inspired names. And I think there was a Ruby Chibi quote where Nora talked about a grandmother.
But that makes sense because she does have Alzheimer's. Let me talk about James. I totally understand his crazed that he starts having. I don't understand what's happening. James's whole goal is to tell everyone the truth. And then people are yelling at him for not telling everyone the truth. Man had a plan. A reasonable plan. If I tell everyone, Grimm will come. People will freak. I need to build up to it. I need to do something that will help the tower. That will help so much. Get these people social media again. And then he'll tell them whenever, like, they prepare. Mm-hmm. And, like, they're upset with him. They're like, you can't keep on hiding the truth. And I'm like, baby.
You are literally such hypocrites right now.
He's not trying to hide the truth. He's actively working on a way to be able to expose the truth. And people are angry at him for not.
He briefly mentions, I will not become another Lionheart.
Mm-hmm.
Give me more of that. Like, the repercussions of knowing that, you know, from what I'm assuming, the headmasters all at least had to have known each other at some point. And the fact that Crow knows all of them, too, is, like, obviously the 4 fairy tale inspired from The Wizard of Oz. Just the idea of, like, processing that is so interesting. And we didn't talk about it, like, the way that, like, back in, like, episode 2, the way that James is like, it's good to see you again, Crow, and he hugs him.
I know.
And that's what's the frustrating thing, is that Ironwood is such an easy character to root for, because it is like he is trying his best to be a good man. It's an interesting moral dilemma, but it's frustrating that the show has already picked a side. He's not wrong about trying to save who he can, and it's also morally understandable to try and save as many people as you can. Yeah. But in the absence of that, he has so obviously become the villain now. Mm-hmm.
It's that extreme.
Yeah. It's just a little...
But he's been pushed
to it. And it makes sense of why he's there. He is already dealing with PTSD. He has just been lied to, even though he has done everything right up until this point. Mm-hmm. And he is like, all right, if you're not with me, you're against me. And which is a shocking mentality, but it makes sense why he has that mentality. Complaining about all of the adult characters not making any sense, he makes sense. He makes sense.
Stresses me out, and he does shoot a 14-year-old.
That was so funny. That was so funny.
That man was slick with it. He's, he just burned his arm off, and he's just like, very Western.
To you, it's general.
That's one of the
I'm
in love with that man.
That is
you,
one of the
general.
Great lines. Also a great line was Weiss going, Jacques Schnee, you are under arrest. Can I do that?
Yes, I loved it. That's one of my notes is policewoman Weiss. I love her. I hate the police, but I love policewoman Weiss. The coolest gunfight ever.
That is a top 5 RWBY fight for me because of the creativity and the fact that it's like, it's such a unique presentation that we've never gotten before. Like, we've never had to worry about ammo before. Mm-hmm. And that was a prevalent thing because they were both going out guns, and you had Watts counting down, which was so cool. The use of gravity. The song, Caleb Hiles. The way my jaw dropped.
I mean, I loved that it took place on the arena.
Yes.
Which is where, shit really started.
Where the show got real.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he didn't dump his ass in magma.
He should have.
I'm disappointed in James.
Did he really just, one-handedly drag Watts back to the...
I guess so.
What's the mental image of the transition here? Because he was already bandaged up, and he just, had a man by the throat. And what a great way for Watts to go out. I will sacrifice whatever it takes, and Watts being like, I hope you do.
Yeah.
That would have been a great way for him to go out. They kill the characters who have served their purpose, and they kill the characters who have not gotten their potential. Once the character has served that purpose, it's okay to kill them.
Yeah.
Narrative purpose, Tyrion, kill him. Watts, kill him. They're narratively done.
I'm begging for them to be done.
I need them to be done. Cinder should have died 4 volumes ago.
The thing is, I rather Cinder than Tyrion Watts.
Yes.
And maybe that's because they're killers. Maybe that's because they're not interesting.
The fact that Emerald and Mercury are not here.
Where are they?
Are they in the whale? Please tell me that they're in the whale.
I'm upset.
Where are the kids?
I feel like that means you told me that Penny dies again.
I know that she dies again. I saw that.
So I am very worried that there's a freaking whale when it comes to Miss Pinocchio. Back to Penny. I love Penny. I wrote down one quote, and it gives me personal feelings. Amazing. She's so great.
Iconic. She reminds me of Anya from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but complete opposite in terms of the nicest person in the world. Where Anya is blunt to the point where it's rude, or it comes across as rude, but Penny is blunt and learning human emotions, but in a way that is so naive and kind. And Anya is one of my favorite Buffy the Vampire Slayer characters. All of my favorite Buffy the Vampire Slayer characters either die or have weird arcs. So yeah, Anya, Tara, Faith, ups and downs. I love Penny, but again, I'm just like...
You're upset that they brought her back from the dead?
I just don't really know why she's here.
I want them to bring Clover back from the dead.
They should. We deserve that. Maybe the ice, like put him to... No, he's dead.
No,
I can't.
that man's dead.
That man's dead. Well,
if Jaune was there...
Maybe maim him, but not kill him? I don't know. Give me something.
Yeah.
Because, like, imagine the leader of the Aesops having questions about everything. I don't care about the Aesops, but, like, give me more on the fact that, like, they were talking, obviously, about the fact that, you know, the Aesops aren't friends. Give me more of that.
Each of them are a different kind of mentor. And then they very early on are like, we're not friends. Like, we're coworkers. Like, I know that they'll protect me and I'll protect them. But, and like, that throws, like, was it Ruby off? When she was like,
It kind of throws all of them off.
yeah, throws all of them off. But they still end up friends, whatever, it's all calm. And there's clearly, like, more going on. The thing that, like, speaks out to me the most is when Noodle Arms calls out Elm's name every battle. Like, every time. I'm like, clearly they're closer than coworkers. And then we see them follow those orders so intensely. Then we see them fight. And we see my man, Marrow. Mushroom, Marshmallow.
Mallow.
Anyways, we see him question it, and he's clearly the youngest.
Yep.
We see such a wholesome dynamic with them in the sense, like, oh, he's the kid, they pick on him.
Yep.
But they never acknowledge it, and I think that's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's interesting that we see that break apart during that fight.
The way that they branch off and the way that, like, Team Ruby's working very well as a team, they're not.
And they're not.
The two characters that are working as a team are Vine and Elm, which makes sense because we read up they're from the same Aesop fable.
Yeah. And so I think it would have been really cool if Clover was still there questioning everything. That would have added something to it. They're so freelancer energy.
Yes! But not good, freelancers.
Not great. You know, not on the same level.
No.
But that was the first thing I said about Clover's voice.
It is.
That it
She
would have
said
been
this.
so great if he was in freelancer arc. Like, that would have been perfect voice. He just had that voice.
Mm-hmm. They could be very interesting characters.
They have toned down what we've been saying this whole time on the politics. And I give leeway because art reflects society, and this was such a big thing in 2019 and 2020.
But they didn't have anything new to say.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It's like, if you're going to talk about it, please have an interesting perspective. People are not watching RWBY to be politically swayed. People don't watch any media to be politically swayed. And it's not that you can't have a message that goes along with your beliefs. That's your right as an artist. And I don't disagree with parts of it. But when you use that at the expense of most of the other plots in the show,
Yes.
it is distractingly annoying.
Like, what we're talking about, like, so much of, at least for me, what I'm doing is I'm filling in the story. I'm, like, making my assumptions about these characters because I'm not getting it.
No.
This volume's, like, 3.5 hours. That's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, and it's like, it both felt rushed and not long enough.
Yeah.
Which is the moral of the RWBY life. Because, like, in a nutshell, the Aesops would be such an interesting group of characters to follow.
It was a great dynamic. The dynamic I really wanted to see is Ironwood, Winter, and Penny. Because they were clearly a trio.
Yes.
And then the Aesops. I want a little
This volume
mini-series.
would have been so much better if Robin Hill did not exist.
Yes. That she doesn't really do much.
She doesn't do anything other than make things worse. Because if you get rid of her and the Happy Huntresses, I get that you would need, like, a conflict with Mantle. But, like, here's the thing. Maybe you split Volume 7 up, and so that we're mostly in Atlas in Volume 7. Kind of like I wouldn't say slower, but, like, you can focus on these characters and their interdynamics and building Amity Tower. Maybe going into Volume 8, introduce a Mantle conflict. Because as is, the problem with this is that you're trapped between, it's the same kingdom, it's two locations. And when you have two locations, you have to talk about the geopolitical differences between them. But that is mostly what's here. You don't have time for intense character work, and when you do get, is sometimes not great.
You don't always need a face of activism happening. There's not always a face of a revolution.
No. Well,
And they're forcing that constantly with White Fang. They had a face every time. And this time, it's okay to have people writing and are just protesting against certain aspects of society without them showing a new person to follow.
gee, it's almost like the guy that Tyrion killed in episode 3 was the perfect example of activism.
I miss him.
In my Women in American History class, which was one of my favorite classes I ever took.
By the name, it sounds like it should be.
I love that professor. I took that professor 3 separate times. Kathy, the misconception that people have about the feminist movement is that it was in waves. That implies that there was a break in the swell of movement. Mm-hmm. There was always activism happening. Mm-hmm. It was only ever covered when white women got majorly involved. Mm-hmm. Because when you've got women of color, queer women, not nearly as covered or accepted as the history narrative.
Yeah.
And that is kind of like the... America just doesn't know how to teach history for a grand number of reasons, but the idea that there's always a person, the George Washington, the historical revisionism that says one exceptional person is part of the reason why. They do that with MLK too. Like, he is the civil rights movement. It's like, he was part of the civil rights movement. He was not the civil rights movement. Exceptional individualism is kind of tying into the general cognitive idea of predeterminism and the idea that, like, there are just people who are exceptional and that they will be exceptional regardless of anything else. And it's like, no, it is. Activism is fighting and clawing and screaming. It is every day. It is not pretty. And it is throwing the brick at Stonewall. And I can't speak toward Eddie and Kiersey, but Miles and Carrie, I know for a fact, love them dearly. They just have not been able to show themselves as people who can write a nuanced, complex situation, because what's so funny, there was no mention of the White Fang whatsoever.
There wasn't.
And that should be a thing in this kingdom that consistently oppresses the White.
My king... we just said it. I'm gonna say mallow again. Marrow. Bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
Anyways,
get that dog.
It's a faunus.
He's a faunus.
In a high-ranking position.
Yep.
And he hates the Schnee Dust Company. Never mentions the White Fang. Even though they go, to where Ilya's parents were murdered.
Probably. I'm like, we're sitting in a mass grave here. Like, Blake says, I know this mine. If she had dropped Ilya's name, I'm like, Ilya, why are you still ruining the show?
And I'm like, and either that, or maybe it's where Adam got his mark.
Give me something to cling on to here.
Either way, she's not mentioning the White Fang at all. White Fang was never said.
It's like they killed it with Adam, and I don't like that.
And that's not what a revolution is. That's not what fighting for equality is. It doesn't die with one person to get stronger.
It's like they wanted to distance themselves as far as possible from that story arc, which, valid, but also y'all wrote yourselves into this corner, and you actually had a chance to talk about it in a way that was interesting, because of all the kingdoms that need an opposing movement, like, they replaced the White Fang with the Happy Huntresses.
They tried.
And they failed.
You could have had this, people standing up, people protesting, without a face. You didn't need her. She did not do anything.
No.
She provided an individual to get, that theoretically could have been assassinated or whatever. Mm-hmm. For, like when Penny gets framed and all that. Just someone that people cared about. But that would have
strengthened the movement. It wouldn't have died with her.
Yeah. We don't want the evil, rich white man. We want anyone else.
Literally going into the 2020
I know.
election. So depressing.
You're advocating for change, you're not advocating for a person.
That. Right there. That.
And
put that on a t-shirt. Not as bad as Volume 5, but I felt like I was watching a farcical play of what people think RWBY is.
Yeah.
And that's not a fun experience.
Yeah. And it's so annoying because I liked almost everything else.
Yeah. But they focused on the thing that we hated.
Yeah.
And now Salem's here, so I'm kind of like, honestly, I'm okay with you killing a lot of people. No after credit scene either.
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting.
That sucked. We wanted to see Emerald and Mercury and the whale.
Playing cards.
Oh, Summer.
That was a cool
scene. That was a great
exact
scene.
Inverse of Volume 6, where it's like the camera got farther and the scene got darker, and instead of turning toward RWBY, she turned away. Mm-hmm. Loved that.
It's her breaking down crying. Just seeing Summer as a character, like an actual
Model?
figure form,
Not
movie.
concept art!
She looks just like RWBY, but she also looks like her own person.
Yes.
And that's impressive because they did not do that with Raven.
They did not. They literally just said, change the hair color. Maybe add a single bag under her eye.
We get revealed on what happened to her. We're
Basically told that
Salem killed her.
Yeah.
That
That's confirmation.
Summer went after her.
Without Ozpin, maybe. And the fact that, like, she has a breakdown and Yang's, like, also, like, I have to go into mother mode, but also I'm triggered too.
Yeah.
And Blake and Weiss are like...
I know. I kind of wish they... Which I could get not doing it.
Right.
Like, from real people standpoint. But I kind of wish they just, like, went ahead and hugged her. You see Blake, like, almost do it. I wish they would have just done it. But, to be fair, they haven't had their team bonding time. Who knows how long.
They haven't...
They're entering their coworker era, and I don't like it.
The fact that it happens in a room with 4 of the Aesops and General Ironwood felt like a perversion of the moment. Because I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Why are all of you here ruining it?
Yeah.
I hate that. I mean, I want more of them. What sucks is that, like, you know, you look at the DVD cover, you look at the poster, and it's the 4 of them. They're never with each other.
You know what I need? I need them to do a little journey to vacuum. So we get bonding with them on their journey, and then we get Sun again.
Sun!
And that's what I need. Penny's with them, but, like, she hangs out on her own sometimes. She's practicing her magic on the ship or something.
Yes.
So they're all together just hanging out.
The fact that Maria is always the willing getaway driver.
Queen.
We need a Maria in our lives.
I love her.
She's like, this is the part where they ask for our help.
I wish we had more scenes with Pietro and Penny. Because they're father-daughter, and I still feel it, because you get that scene of him talking about how she is his life, literally. But I wish I could have seen them, like, talk to each other. That would have been really cutie. His wheelchairs are really funny. I laugh every time.
We really just don't get a lot of the conversations. I'm conversation starved, and which sucks, because Volume 6 had a lot of good conversations. It's like the Volume 5 problem of they're talking, but they're talking about nothing. And I don't care about what they're talking about.
I feel like they don't even get a chance to talk about nothing. Like, it's just constantly something.
Yeah.
And it's the stuff I don't care about.
Yeah.
I care about Ren and Nora finally figuring out their situationship.
Which they didn't.
And they didn't.
I really wanted a conversation between Ruby and Weiss. Just about the fact of what they're feeling about everything.
They're the partners.
Yes. Like, give me more of the partners interacting with each other. You know? Or maybe the idea that, like, Jaune is kind of isolated in the process with that. Where it's like, he doesn't really have his person anymore. Ren and Nora are having their issues. Blake and Yang are growing closer. And then you kind of get Ruby and Weiss come of somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah.
Where they're close, but, like, the idea that it's like...
They got super close. She went away. She's back. They haven't had a moment alone.
They haven't. And again, it doesn't even have to be in a shipping sense. It's in a...
No, I will never ship them.
as besties.
They're besties.
And the fact that they just really haven't gotten a moment to
Be
talk.
besties.
And the fact that Ruby and Blake have barely even talked ever.
I know.
Ever since the book conversation, they have never interacted.
I feel like there was a line.
We'll follow your lead, Ruby.
Yes.
Which was a mistake. And then they literally go back on it and go rogue. Rogue bees. Give me a moment where Weiss and Ruby are like, hey, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because that was uncalled for, that they decided to go... Because, like, it's one thing. I love it when there is tension within the group.
Yeah.
I hate Xander on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love that he makes bad decisions and constantly does what's best for him instead of what's best for the group or what the group decides. That is interesting. Give me character play of Ruby and Weiss being like, why did y'all feel the need to do that? But we didn't get a chance because we have to go into fight mode. And that's frustrating. I want characters to hold each other accountable, and there's no accountability here. Give me infighting with Team RWBY.
Give me some arcs.
Yes.
You know,
there
that
were no
would solve
arcs.
that.
There were no arcs.
Animes do better with arcs. That's how the nature of the media has ended up. And if you cannot do it, and some do it great, some of the most, like, emotional animes don't have arcs. They're telling, like, a story. But this is a 10-volume series. You have arcs when you have multiple volumes like that.
I think there's only 9.
Manifesting 10
I hope that it
volume
gets
series.
renewed for 10, because, like, I cannot completely get invested in the show again just for it to get canceled on me.
Are you saying we're almost done?
Yeah, we have 8 and 9.
Fake news.
We have 8 and 9 left. The split screen
Oh, yeah.
got so on my nerve. It was so overused.
Yes.
I was so over it.
They did a really cool thing with the slow-mo, though.
That was a
With
great
Yang,
shot.
And then the Yang and Blake.
They were literally yin and yang.
It was great.
That was great. My ranking is 2, 4, 3, 6, 1, 7, 5.
Yeah, mine is...
I did not like this volume. Like, it's not as bad as 5, because nothing is as bad as 5.
Oh.
I really hated that. Good moments. Did not overall enjoy the experience.
Yeah. 4, 2, 3, 6, 1, 5 scratched out. So yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so super excited to watch more. This is nowhere near as bad as season 5.
No.
Like I said, I liked everything except
The main focus.
the main focus. What redeems RWBY is its characters, and we weren't having that.
No.
I have no idea what to expect next season.
I'm going in blind. All I know is that Penny dies.
Which is the worst news
That is
I could ever receive.
Worst news. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole deal. If you've made it this far, I love you. Thank you for actually watching this. These videos are my favorite thing. I know that they're not, like, everyone's cup of tea, but I love making them. So, thank y'all. We'll catch you next time when hopefully Volume 8 is better than 7.